let's talk about hydration. So, the first thing and the main thing that I need you to understand is that hydration, water alone will not hydrate you. The more water that you drink, the more that it's just going to go right through you because you need electrolytes to keep you properly hydrated. And that could be regardless if you are running or not. Every person on earth needs electrolytes in order to stay hydrated. So hydration is really, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but men and women are different because of blood plasma volume, sodium retention and sodium loss, and core temperature. Those are the biggest differences when it comes to hydration. Men may do fine with sports drinks, the typical ones like Gatorade and Powerade, but females do not because of a few factors that we're going to talk about. So first thing that I need you to understand is that water alone will not hydrate you. You need electrolytes. If you drink too much water, like some people are drinking 200 ounces of water and they literally drink this and then they have to go pee right away because it's literally just going through you and it's actually flushing more nutrients out of your body. So yes, it is possible to drink too much water. Yes, technically you can drink way too much water and like drown yourself, but in terms of not that extreme, it is possible to be drinking too much water to the point that you are flushing electrolytes and other minerals out of your body. So you need to be careful of that. What I want to talk to you today about is hydration throughout the day, but also before, during, and after exercise, specifically running. But also it can apply to your workouts. It can apply to a hot summer day. It can apply to any time that you're sweating. So a lot of people are focused more on calories versus their hydration when it comes to a performance for a race, performance for a workout, and hitting those paces or those PRs or those distances that they want to achieve. But really, what you are drinking a lot of times is contributing, or is actually a fueling source and not a hydration source. And we're going to talk about that. The carbohydrate concentration plays a lot into that. Gatorade, Powerade, those are actually fueling sources versus hydration sources when it comes to females specifically, because the carbohydrate concentration is very high. And when that carbohydrate concentration is high, it actually dehydrates you instead of hydrates you. So be careful about that. But the main point of hydration is really to keep your body fluids level high enough so that they're functioning properly. And when you have a carbohydrate concentration that is too high, you're not actually keeping your body fluid level up high enough. It's actually doing the opposite because that actually draws water into your gut, which causes GI distress, but it's actually dehydrating you at the same time. So that's one main factor that I wanted to point out to you guys. So really focus on what are you using for your fueling source? What are you using for your hydration source? Those two things should be separate. You should have hydration in your water bottle and you should have fueling in your pocket. They should not be all in one, except you're using something like Morin, and that they actually have a fueling source and a hydration source that are kind of combined, that you can, or the fueling source is a powder that you can put in your bottle, and then people are alternating between, they have two bottles with them, that one is water, one is their fueling source, and they're going between those two. But even in that water, they have sodium, they have salt in there as their replenishment for their electrolytes. So it's just a different technique, which is also an option. Some people don't do well with actually chewing food while they are running or racing. But it's important to practice both fueling and hydration during your training so that you can figure out what works best for you, to make sure that you can actually chew your fuel while you're running at a higher intensity. So when we're talking about hydration and we're talking about like what is actually happening and why do you want to lower carbohydrate concentration, if your blood is more concentrated than the fluid that you are consuming, your cells in your, and I'm getting a little bit of sciencey, but I want you guys to understand how this works and why this is what it is. The cells in your small intestine will let that fluid through the intestinal wall, and that adds water to the bloodstream and lowers the carbohydrate concentration. On the flip side, if you consume fluid that is too concentrated, if you're consuming Powerade or Gatorade as a female, your intestinal cells will reverse course, and it actually pulls water from your veins of the vascular space in your body, and the purpose of pulling that water is to actually dilute the higher concentration in your gut. So it's pulling water into your gut, which actually the water is leaving the spaces that you actually want it to be, and that's causing, when it's pulling water from those spaces, it's causing dehydration. But also because it's pulling water into your gut, you're going to get that sloshing, you're going to get also GI distress. So not only are you dehydrated, but you also have bathroom problems. So it's kind of a double whammy there, because dehydration can also lead to stomach issues. And bathroom issues are one of the main concerns behind runners, leading up to a race and then during a race. You want to go before a race and you don't want to have to go during a race. But if you are consuming a fluid that you think is a hydration source, you think that it's hydrating you, you're grabbing water on the course, you're grabbing Powerade or Gatorade on the course, not consuming any fuel, or you're consuming maybe like a gel, which we'll also talk about. You think that you're hydrating, you think that you're fueling, but really what you think is hydrating you is either going right through you, and it's not replenishing any electrolytes, or it's going into your digestive system. It's pulling water into your gut to dilute the concentration. It's dehydrating you. It's also causing GI distress, and then you think that you're dehydrated or you're not well fueled because you're tired, and then you consume more water or more Powerade, or you take another gel and you continue to have these issues. So there's a lot to it, but when you simplify it, keep the two separate, find a hydration source that is going to adequately hydrate you, that's not going to cause GI distress. So you want to lower carbohydrate concentration, which I will talk about what you want to look for. And then you also want to have a fueling source that's going to properly fuel you. So that's a little bit of the science behind it. When you're looking for a hydration source, you want sodium in there. You also want a little bit of sugar. So in order for water to properly hydrate you, you need sodium, because water molecules attach themselves to the cells of your body when there is sodium in play. When there's not, they don't attach as well. So that, again, it's going to go through you instead of staying in you to hydrate you. Now, sodium it works best when it has maybe what you would consider a co-pilot or glucose. So you want a little bit of sugar in your hydration source to adequately hydrate you and replenish those electrolytes. So hopefully that makes sense. It's not like you're not drinking straight water. You're also not drinking something that's extremely high in sugar that would probably have a high carbohydrate concentration. So I think that's what I want to mention on that. So when you're looking for a hydration source, what should you be looking for? Or what should you not consider? So you really want to look for something that has a 3 to 4% carbohydrate concentration. And if you look at the label, you will actually see it'll say what the carbohydrates are in. It'll tell you the electrolyte breakdown, but with the carbohydrate concentration, it'll tell you the percentage. You want to look for something that is 3 to 4%. Anything that's getting up into 5 to 8%, that's way too high. That's considered a fueling source, but it's also going to cause GI distress and it's going to dehydrate you. So look for that. Sugars anywhere from 7 to maybe 10%, but also know that glucose and sucrose are the best options. You kind of want to stay away from maltodextrin or fructose or mostly those two, because they do cause issues, especially maltodextrin causes a lot of GI distress. So just be aware of that. And this is all per 8 ounces, just to let you know. But 3 to 4% carbohydrate concentration. Look for a little bit of sugar in there. Sodium, potassium. I use Beachbody Performance Hydrate. Other people, you can. I don't think they have a hydration source, but they do have a lot of fueling sources that would be in liquid form. You need to be careful when it comes to, what is the big one? Noon. Noon has a lot of great hydration sources, but some of them are too high in carbohydrates, so they're not going to properly hydrate you. They're going to dehydrate you. They're going to cause GI distress. So when you come across, whether you have a source right now, or you're looking for a hydration source, and you're like, I don't know if this is this good? Like, just send it to me. I can put together a list as well. But ask questions about it. I will definitely look at anything that you want me to look at, and I'll tell you what my thought is based on the carbohydrate concentration, the sugar concentration, or the sugar, I can't even think of the word right now, measurement, how many grams of sugar is in it, what's the sodium content, what's the potassium content, magnesium. Like, I'll look at all of that for you and let you know, yes, all these things are good, or all these things are good except for this, or just explain what to look for and my opinion on all of them. I think that's all that I want to talk about in terms of hydration. One other thing that you can do is, I know salt has gotten a bad rap over the years, but unless you specifically have been told to eat less sodium, most runners have no issues with adding salt to their food, because the majority of the time you are eating whole foods. It's not like you're getting fast food or eating packaged food for every single meal, every single day, and those do have a high sodium content. Majority of the time you are eating whole foods, so you should be eating or adding salt to your food, and that's also going to help hydrate you. The other thing that you can do or should do is add just a tiny pinch of salt to your water, and that will ensure that you are properly hydrated. Just a tiny pinch. You're not going to taste it at all. Just add a tiny pinch to your water, and that will ensure, again, that you're staying properly hydrated, because water molecules have the sodium to attach which can attach to the cells in your body to properly hydrate you. So let me know what questions you guys have about hydration. I know that got really deep into the sciencey, but I just wanted to explain it so that you could a little bit better understand it. And ask any questions you have, ask any questions, and send hydration source ideas to me, and I can definitely analyze them. I'll post them in the group and kind of break it down for what is good, what's bad, what's optimal, and give you all the facts about what I think is best and what maybe isn't as good, so that you guys can figure out, again, what works best for you. That's what this group is about. I'm giving you as many sources of information as possible so that you can figure out what works best for you.